Love them or hate them, vampires have had a long-lasting effect on our culture as human beings. In this case, an obsession with vampire culture had an irreversible effect on the lives of 4 teenagers who thought they were vampires, and the family they destroyed. This dark and twisted tale begins in Kentucky, where Roderick Ferrell was born, and where he began to believe he had a demon living inside him. Since a young age, he'd been obsessed with death and spent a lot of his time researching dark topics like Satanism and the occult. In his early teen years, he and a group of friends found a role-playing game called Vampire: The Masquerade and created vampire characters for each of them. However, Roderick's character became more of a real-life persona. His friends referred to him as Vasago, a demon name possibly taken from a spellbook titled The Lesser Key of Solomon. They called themselves a vampire clan, and the group delved into drinking, hard drugs, and the dark arts. Spending time at an abandoned home they dubbed the Vampire Hotel, the group engaged in drug use, blood play, and depraved sex acts. Despite his obsession, Roderick was not the leader of the clan. His mother, Sandra Gibson, claims he was enticed with drugs and sex by a 19-year-old female named Dana Cooper to participate more and more. She did not stop this other woman from preying on her son. She actually took Roderick to the Vampire Hotel on many occasions, sometimes staying to watch what the group was up to. For whatever reason, she allowed her son to sink deeper into this fantasy world. Their activity did not go unnoticed by local authorities, though, and 5 members of the vampire clan were somewhat being observed. At some point in 1995, 15-year-old Roderick moved to Florida, where he met 14-year-old Heather Wendorf, and the two hit it off. He introduced her to the dark side, and it didn't seem she was an unwilling participant. She changed the way she dressed and dyed her hair darker. Her friends said she started talking about becoming a vampire and drinking blood. Roderick did not stay in Florida for long, but when he left, he kept in contact with Heather by telephone, and she grew more comfortable with her new lifestyle. Heather's parents were not happy about the changes she'd made. For more than a year, she told Roderick about her parents trying to control her. It's unclear what was happening between Heather and her parents, but Roderick grew more concerned that she was being abused, and one day, after speaking with Heather and taking a mixture of drugs, he decided he was going to rescue her. Roderick took 3 members of the clan on the drive from Kentucky to Eustis: Scott Anderson, Charity Kessie, and Dana Cooper. On November 24th, the group picked up Heather and told her they were taking her away to New Orleans. She wanted to stop by her current boyfriend's house to say goodbye. While there, Roderick and Scott Anderson drove back to Heather's house. Entering through the unlocked garage door, Roderick picked up a crowbar and found Richard Wendorf asleep on the couch. In mere moments, Heather's father's skull was smashed and his body beaten severely. Her mother, Naomi, was in the shower at the time of the attack, but she was not spared. She was also beaten to death with the crowbar. Roderick claims he didn't intend to kill her, but she threw a cup of coffee on him, and that made him mad. Roderick and Scott left to pick up Heather, Charity, and Dana, and the 5 tried to make it to New Orleans. The following day, November 25th, 1996, Heather's sister Jennifer found the bodies of her parents. Suspicion fell upon the missing daughter, and a search began for the murderous vampire clan. It took 4 days for the teenagers to be found in Louisiana, and they were soon extradited back to Lake County on charges for murder. Heather claims she was unaware of the group's intention to kill her parents, and a grand jury eventually dismissed the charges against her. Dana Cooper pled guilty to a lesser charge and was sentenced to 17 years in prison. Charity Kessie took the same deal, but was only given 10 years. Scott Anderson pled guilty and was given 2 life sentences without parole. Roderick Ferrell was sentenced to death, the youngest person to ever receive such a sentence. A recent change to Florida law triggered a review of Roderick's case, and his sentence was commuted from death to 2,000 years. Being able to solve this case and punish those responsible gives a bit of comfort to the Wendorf family and the residents of Eustis, but it's still unsettling for the rest of the world to comprehend. A combination of drugs, mental instability, teenage angst, and a desire for justice or blood led Roderick Ferrell to murder 2 strangers and enjoy it. Then 4 people traveled with him for several days, knowing he killed 2 people in a brutal, horrific way. What could make someone with such an enthralling personality delve so deeply into the darkness of his own soul? Perhaps he does have a demon living inside of him.